What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Oh my gosh, today's video, I am so excited because we are doing my January expenses breakdown. Okay, so I've been contemplating on doing a monthly expenses breakdown for a while. But when this year started, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time we turn this into a series and give you guys a little bit insight on how like my expenses look like and how I budget and also how I save money, and maybe I could give anybody out there some tips on how they could save money when they move to Thailand. So without wasting you too much of your time, let's just dive right into it because I got everything written down right here. I got everything written down right here. So let's just dive into it all the details, okay? Because it could get quite tricky living in Thailand on saving money, because you will come in with, let's say, the American dollar, and you'll start thinking, oh, things are so cheap, and then you start buying every single thing you see because in your head it sounds cheap, but that's not the way to live. But we're going to get into that later. Let's just go straight into the breakdown. So my January expenses. So my rent, which I think I already told you guys when I rented my house, my apartment. I pay every month, I pay 8,500 baht, which is also equivalent to $200, 690.84 cents. Electric bill. This month my electric bill and water bill was quite high, but it's still reasonable. So my electric bill was 1,008.70 baht, and which is also the same as $32.14. Water bill was 699.86 baht, which is also equivalent to $22.30. So not bad at all, right? But around that time we already spent like, just on basic expenses, we already spent like 10,000 baht, okay? But school transportation, and this is strictly for me going to and coming back from school. Now this expenses could fluctuate because they use the meter, and sometimes it would be $45, 45 baht, but I like to round it and just pay 50 baht unless it goes higher than that. So a ride to school will cost me 50 baht. So that means my to and from a day will cost me 100 baht, right? So that means, and in a week, I only go to school from Monday to Thursday. Fridays, I don't have any classes. So that means I spend 400 baht on a week on transportation to school, which is also the same as $12.72. That means in a month I spent 1,000 baht and 600, right? So that's also equivalent to $50.79. Pilates. So y'all know this month I started Pilates in January. So in January I only took 2 classes, and when I began my Pilates class, I paid for 10 sections. So one section cost me 1,795.50 baht, which is also the same as $57. That means in January I took only 2 classes. That will cost me 3,591 baht, which is also the same as $114 for the 2 classes in January. Food. This is the big part everybody worry about, because who don't eat, But food for the month of January, I spent 6,250 baht, which is also equivalent to $198.41. When it comes to food, I was actually quite surprised because I thought I would spend more than this amount, because usually a monthly on food I budget myself around like $400. But that means I'm doing something right if I'm spending lesser than that. You know what I'm saying? But let's go to Grab. So Grab transportation will probably be when I go to Pilates, the transportations I use. If I'm going to create content somewhere, the transportations I use. If I want to go to Central Bangkok, all that stuff. So with that being said, that cost me about $109, which is also the same as in baht. It will be 3,433.50 baht, right? So, and also in the month of January, I did do a pre-deposit to get my hair done. So that was 1,000 baht, which is also equivalent to $31.75. In the month of January, I also did get my visa renewed. That was 1,900 baht, which is also equivalent to $60.55. And then miscellaneous, I count it as if I was to go to 7-Eleven to buy detergent or get me something random, things that are not in my budget but they happen outside of it, right? I spent 1,341.50 baht, which is also equivalent to $42.59. In total, I spent 29,324.56 thousand baht, which is the same as, I hope I said the money correctly, which is the same as $934.50. So monthly, I budget myself at $1,000, and to spend below that, I'm actually very, very proud of myself. That means everything that I've been doing to save more money has been working, and I've been working really hard towards that. That will take me back into tips on how to save money and budget yourself, and also stay on budget, because it's easy to say I'm budgeting myself at this amount of money, and it's hard to keep it below that budget or at the line of that budget. It's so easy to go over budget, and people sometimes don't realize that. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips on how I budget my money and also how I stay on budget. Rule number 1, eat local food, okay? No matter what, I think 90% of the food you eat have to be local, because local food are cheaper and it will save you so much more money than you going to a fancy restaurant. Now, I'm not saying you cannot do it once in a while. I do it once in a while, so I cannot be hypocrite, but I'm saying you have to keep that once in a while strict program. It cannot be every single day thing. So 90% of your food have to be local. 10%, you go get your tacos if you're craving tacos. Get you some American food if you're craving some American food. But 90% will have to be local food for you to be able to stay on budget, unless maybe your budget is up there more than $1,000, then you can do whatever you want with your own money. Number 2 is, if you're a student like me, I would recommend that you get an apartment that is closer to school or in the area where your school is at than far away in the city, because that means you have to pay more money for transportation. That means you have to pay more money for the rent, because if you're far away from the city apartments are quite higher than when you're closer to your school. So I also recommend that. That would be one of your biggest. And I think one hidden budget trick that people do not realize is there is a cafe culture here in Thailand, and if you're not careful, that will probably be where your hidden spending will go to, because the cafes here could be quite expensive if you do not know the cafe to go to. Okay, especially franchise cafes are quite expensive. I don't know, in my school, right, there's a cafe called True Cafe, and I love their stuff. They have this thing called matcha calamari. I love it. Now, but I always go there once in a while. I do not go there if I don't need to be there, okay? Because you could get the same matcha calamari from somewhere else way cheaper than how much they will sell it to you over there. So you need to understand the places you need to go to and when you need to go there, right? So there are some places that is just for occasional purposes. It's not for everyday use. Because I've gotten matcha lattes and stuff from Amazon Cafe, and it's actually way cheaper there. I paid 80 baht over there, and somebody might probably say that's even still expensive, but to compare it to other places and other franchises, I think it's quite cheaper to get tea, Milo or sodas and stuff from Amazon cafes than other franchise cafes. So you really need to understand and observe pricing when it comes to different places, and be careful when it comes to franchise stuff. I'd rather go to like an independent place that's just like some mom and her daughter like running the thing. It's cheaper like that. So I think that's also another thing you need to pay attention to. I love going to cafes. I don't drink coffee personally, but I do love matcha. I do like me some sodas, but I also stay away from sugars a lot because here is something that there could be a blur line between sugar. So you need to also be very careful about that, but that's outside the topic. But cafes, you need to budget yourself when you need to be on a strict program when it comes to that, because that could be your hidden cost right there. And also, one last thing I wanted to also share is use public transportation. Public transportation like your SkyTrain, your MRTs are going to be very, very, very cheaper than you using Grab every single day. Unless you live in a place like me where the closest public transportation is like 30 minutes away from you, that's a different story. But if you are like 2 minutes close to a public transportation, please use it. Please use it, because you could pay only 60 baht to go to a place where you would take a taxi and you pay about 200 and something baht. So don't get intimidated by the fact that it's in Thai and all these things. You can get the app, SkyTrain, MRT, the blue line, the green line, the gold line, all that. Get the app. It will help you, save you so much. And if you are confused on what platform to take, the app will tell you all of that. Or if you're confused on what station you're supposed to take from wherever station you are at to, you can Google it. You can literally chat GPT it. You can literally, Copilot will tell you everything. So please utilize your public transportation, because it will be your cheapest form of transportation and will help you save a lot. And also, one last thing, just keep yourself accountable when it comes to your weekly expenses. I would say if you're somebody that find it hard to budget, I will advise you to cut everything into a weekly expenses, divide your money into 4 and do it that way. I think that would help you more. But I just hope that this video helped. I'm not gonna keep y'all too much. This is my monthly expenses for the month of January, and if you love this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I'm gonna see you guys in another video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to comment whatever that you think I could have done better, whatever you love for me to speak about. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.